more. Well, my girl's got the sweetest pussy nestled in her lap. So, welcome to SinCityBounty.com. We are going to start the show off with the curse word of the week. Ding, ding, ding. Curse word of the week. Brought to you by Starbucks. Curse word of the week this week is cafe cunt noodle. It's all one word. Cafe cunt noodle. That's that bitch in the Prius in front of you who will not pull up closer to the guy in front of him so that you are not next to the speaker box at Starbucks. So you have to yell your order at the barista, and the barista's trying to yell at you, and nobody can understand each other because that fucking cafe cunt noodle in front of you can't pull forward 2 more feet. Cafe cunt noodle.
I have experienced the cafe cunt noodle often in the drive-thru.
That little fucking...
And you know, Starbucks offers that where you call in your order and you can go pick it up, but then you have to get out of your car and go into the place to pick it up.
Right, because you can't do that to the drive-thru.
And I always forget when I'm going to go meet someone at a Starbucks to do that because you earn extra stars and all kinds of crap.
Mm-hmm.
I always forget. I did it today, as a matter of fact. I knew I was going.
Call in your order?
You can call in your order. You can pay for it on your phone.
Yeah, you download the Starbucks
no
app.
No freaking way.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. It's like, I'm on my way, bitches.
And you earn extra rewards and stuff and get free stuff. It's very cool.
No clue.
Well, we're Starbucks whores.
We are. Yeah. I am. I didn't usually drink Starbucks nearly as much as I do now, but I'm making a fuck ton of money now. I'm drinking Starbucks whenever I want.
Hey, so you're investing the difference instead of saving the difference. You're investing in Starbucks.
I am investing in Starbucks, yes.
Did you find a new coffee place by your work?
I did. It's on the way to work. So I have like 2 or 3 different ways I go to work depending on what I have to do with my kid in the morning. Whether I leave him at home or he goes to Boys and Girls Club or whatever. Or school. Sometimes that happens too. So on my way from dropping him off at school, there's a little coffee shop called something, Sunrise Coffee Shop or something like that, I don't know. But I happened to stop in one day on the way because I was like, I'm going to give him a try. And it just so happens that it was like Zappos free coffee day. Like Zappos bought everybody a free coffee and a pastry.
Awesome.
Fuck yeah. Except it was a small coffee. Like, that ain't going to work. I'll take the free pastry, but you can give my small coffee to someone else.
I'll drink a small coffee. I'll drink any size coffee.
No, I needed because I have... So once I drop my son off from school, I have an hour and 45 minutes before I have to be at work. I have to find something to do in the mornings. There's a Walmart by where I work. I can't do that anymore. That's very expensive.
We have dropped so many product names in this first 5 minutes, and we are not getting paid for any of it.
We're not getting paid for any of it.
Hey, wait, hold on. Coach! Just throw them out just in case.
Louis Vuitton.
Hermes. I hear a buzz.
I do too.
The beers.
And it is not my vibrator.
No, it's probably...
I have it off right now.
Cords are all wrapped up on each other.
We got some technical... Well, we can hear it. I don't know if you guys can hear it.
Yeah, fuck it. We just deal with it.
Hey, I want to do one thing right off the bat here at the beginning of our meeting. I got that stuck in my head for some reason.
Because we just had a meeting about meetings.
That's right. Wendy, happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Joy for you and me. It's happy birthday.
This is like the Chuck E. Cheese song.
We love Wendy of Neverland, one of our biggest fans.
Yay.
And today is her birthday, so I was going to post it on Facebook, but I said, fuck it, we'll just do it on the air.
Happy birthday to you. To me.
We should probably do a cleavage shot. Let's do cleavage shot for
bra shot.
Come on, Toxie.
Wendy, I got nothing. I got nothing to offer.
This one is Charm. That's
beautiful. I was
Did you get that before?
Yeah, I've had it for a while. We named it on the show because
I know. I was going to say it looks familiar.
Very pretty.
That's very beautiful. Your left one's bigger. Huh?
Yes.
Or your right one.
Yeah.
The right one.
Whatever one it's bigger.
Your right one floweth over.
It does.
Right
it's bigger. You can't tell.
Don't you? Even though you have small ones, is it one bigger than the other?
But I'm built like a 13-year-old pudgy boy. It's not like you can tell the difference.
If you got lazy boob that wanders off in your armpit when you lay down, you don't have 13-year-old boy boobs.
That's true.
I guess.
You have at least one grown-up.
Is that one legal? Yeah, that one's legal. Okay, I'll play with that one.
Legal nips. Legal nips.
So how goes the Buzz Lightyear? How's Buzz Lightyear doing?
Oh, fine.
It's been a week. We want to catch up with what's going on.
Have some more fabulous sex yet?
I didn't realize we were talking about that.
It's like catch-ups, right? We don't do like regular catch-ups anymore.
Remember,
I saw some photos that you posted. You were out and about town this week.
I was.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about where'd you go? What'd you see?
We're living vicariously through you.
That's right, vicariously.
You're the worst.
I am.
You suck.
Did you go to
Double Down?
No.
No, Red
Rooster?
No. Damn it.
Red Label?
Yes.
No.
Oh, okay.
Where'd you go?
The first place was called. I can't think of what it was called.
Was it just a party or?
No,
a club?
there was a band. It was a bar and there was a band, and it's in the not as nice part of downtown. So you park and it's a 50-50 if your car will still be there later.
Oh, was it the house, the
bunkhouse?
bunkhouse? That's it. Yeah,
He just said.
yeah, the bunkhouse. I've seen I've seen many a comedian and many a band at the bunkhouse. I love the bunkhouse.
I've been there once, and I went for
the Yellow Bellies.
The Yellow Bellies. That's right. And yeah, it's a little scary.
Yeah.
So it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I had a great
yeah.
time, and not that I've ever been back or anything, but
Yeah, that place was cool. It was pretty cool, and the band was cool. It was all a lot of instruments, a lot of brass,
I call our excuse me.
keyboard.
I call our downtown semi-gentrified. It's getting there, not quite there yet.
Yeah, it's like if you're on one block, it's like all this new fancy hipster shit, and then the next block over, it's the old fancy hippie crunchy living out of a cardboard box shit. Excuse me, my coffee burps.
Not that there's anything wrong with non-gentrified places.
I had just never ventured down to that end, and then afterward we ended up at we were looking for this food truck that had macaroni and cheese products.
Really?
And I was very excited about it, like more excited than I should have been.
Did you find it?
No, the food truck left.
Oh.
So we ate at like this hot dog food truck. But then we went in the Atomic. That's where the photos were from. And then Desiree, Ms. Desiree
buddy.
Devine.
Our beautiful friend of the show.
Yes. And she happened to be downtown as well. So she came down, and her and another friend joined us. And
That's cool.
yeah. Utah is pretty cool
So
too.
you did the local stuff down in our local downtown, as opposed to the touristy stuff from our local
Right.
downtown. Very
Right.
nice. Very nice. You are adapting to your fabulous job and
I
loving
do.
it, but dealing with stupid people. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, it's not stupid people that work there now, just stupid people who
That
used to work there. Yeah, I'm gonna dismiss that. Yeah, I'm getting used to my new. Kelly guy says he can't see you in chat.
Who, us?
Also, we're blowing out our mics. Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me adjust mic levels for a second.
Okay. So my job hunt. I'll get back from the mic a little bit here. So my job hunt is still going on. My mom calls me like every other day. How are you doing? Are you okay? Do I need to feed you? Which is great. So I love my mom. She's pretty awesome. But I did find out that my mom has. She just found out from the doctor that she has blockages starting in her arteries. You think for an Asian woman she would be pretty healthy, but no, because she's been Americanized for 30, 40 something years.
Nice.
She's got to now quit smoking and reduce her fat intake, and not that I was doing some research on it. You can't reverse it.
No, but you can go in basically like a plumber's drill and just drill it out.
Yeah, if they're willing to do that for her. So
yeah.
They told her to quit smoking and start exercising. That's pretty much it.
Well, once she does that, she may up her chances of becoming a candidate for that corrective surgery. I guess it is. I don't know.
So somebody asked me, well, what does that mean? I'm like, well, that means my mom can have a heart attack at any time. That's exactly what that means. So,
she was all clogged.
She's got clog starting. So
yeah,
that's how my mom had a heart attack.
Yeah. Most people, I think that's the number. It's a heart disease, right? It's a type of heart disease, and that's the number one killer of people in America. So.
And she was a smoker.
Mm-hmm.
She stopped that day.
Right.
So.
My mom is trying very hard.
I'm telling you, my sister did it like I did. I read a book and I quit smoking. Doesn't work for everyone, but it worked for me. My sister did it through vaping, actually. So I'm going to give you all a way to do this, to quit smoking. It worked for my sister, and it seemed like a really natural way to do it, just kind of like naturally bringing your body down off of the nicotine addiction. So she went out and bought her vape system, and she started vaping with, full nicotine or whatever normal level of nicotine is. But every time she replaced her bottle of juice, she stepped down a notch in the nicotine. And you replace your bottle like every 2 weeks, depending on how often you smoke. And eventually she got to the point where she was smoking no nicotine. And about 2 or 3 weeks after that, she lost the urge to smoke altogether because she was no longer addicted to the nicotine, and she didn't need that, hand-to-mouth thing anymore. Right. And she just quit. So
that's one way, weeding yourself off. Another way is, do you remember the name of your book?
Yes, it's called The Only Way to Quit Smoking by Alan Carr, Carr. I am totally willing to give him a free plug because it is hands down, he even tells you, first sentence in the book is, when you're done with this book, you will set it down and you will be done smoking, but don't stop smoking while you read the book. Right. Smoke. Chain smoke as much as you can.
So there's the weaning. You can use patches and stuff like that to help with weaning. And then there's, of course, you can go the doctor route. There's cold turkey. You can go the doctor route and get something called Chantix, which I love Chantix because it gives you the most vivid dreams ever.
No,
it's very cool.
I love Chantix because it made your dreams so vivid that everyone else in your life thought they were real.
Yeah, that's true.
We used to blog a lot, and she wrote a blog, and I got a notification, hey, your friend has got a new blog. And so I read it, and I'm like, I called her. I didn't even finish the goddamn blog. I called her. I was like, you won the fucking lottery? You won the lottery? You didn't tell us?
It was I hit a machine.
Oh, yeah. You hit Megabucks or something.
$64,000 or something like that on a machine.
And I was like, what the fuck? And it turned out it wasn't real. It was just a dream.
It was a dream.
It was an amazing dream.
You got up and blogged about it?
Yeah.
It was such a vivid dream. I have a ton of those, really. When my dreams are good, they're full-on whole stories.
I'm going to tell you about the dream I just had.
Yeah. So, yeah. I had 3 people call me. You won? Oh my God, you won! I'm like, didn't you read it to the end?
No, because we get to the point where you won all this money and you're starting to plan taking us to Hawaii, and I'm like, how many bikinis do I need to pack?
I have a friend who did the gum. via Nicorette. And so she chews it all the time. And I had asked her one day, like, how long ago did you quit that you're still chewing the gum? And she said, I quit when my son was born, and he's 9. So she's very addicted to the gum.
Yeah, so trading one source of nicotine for another source of nicotine is not quitting. It's just it's literally going from smoking crack to injecting crack. Like, that's all it is.
Well, it's sort of a weaning process. You're
You're
supposed
supposed
to
to,
wean
but-
yourself off. So
It doesn't happen.
One of the things that you learn
it can, because that's what her sister did.
For her. I'm
Right.
just
Yeah,
saying
well,
for this person. it
that
doesn't
weaning
happen.
system is different though, because the gum, you're supposed to wean yourself off of the gum, but you don't. You don't have to, because you can, you have to have the willpower to wean, I
Yeah.
think.
My mom, she's a big fan of the cold turkey thing, but I have yet to see her do cold turkey. So,
It can work. I mean, my mom had smoked since she was 15. She tried for years, and she did different methods, and it didn't work for her. And in that hospital, she was like shaking, asking the doctor, "Can you give me something? Like, I want some type of drug to wean me off or something." And they're like, "No."
Yeah,
And that was it.
yeah, detoxing is really one of the things, a lot of detox is in the mind. And so the method the book uses is essentially self-hypnosis. You are, training your brain to hypnotize itself without actually doing it. That's, this method of the book. It's not like it's fucking magic words you chant and suddenly you're not smoking anymore. It's a process
Although
that the
you
book takes you
could,
through.
if you do, what is it called? Where you get hypnotized.
Yeah,
and then you can meditate on it.
Yeah, you could get hypnotized. It worked. We had a friend get hypnotized to quit smoking, and it worked right up until he divorced his wife who made him quit smoking, and then he started smoking again.
I wouldn't trust a hypnotist.
No?
I would have to have someone go with me to make sure he didn't make me cluck like a chicken when somebody said something. I don't trust hypnotists.
I had been in an actual doctor's office where they hypnotize you, and that had been one thing I had done that I didn't really remember, but I did a hypnotist one year at the Bash, and it was the worst thing in the world. Were either of you guys? Oh, you guys were broadcasting. I was in there for the show. It was years ago when we were at the Plaza, and I got volunteered to go up. And so I went up, and I just remember, like, you can hear everything. You totally do what the guy says.
Right.
But I didn't want to, so I was fighting, trying not to, and I couldn't stop doing it.
Right.
And then afterward, when I finally, the whole thing was done, I had the worst headache for like hours after. And so I had a friend who was also up there, and I said to her, like, my God, I have this freaking headache. I was in there trying to fight it. I didn't want to do anything that they were saying to do. Like, one was like sniff a guy's crotch next to you and stuff like that. And there were a lot of like different weird things. And but she had the same thing, and she said, I also have a pounding headache. So we went and we asked the hypnotist, and that's what he explained. He said it's because you were both fighting it, and then that's why your head's hurting.
The Silent Mike was hypnotized once, and it's on video.
Yeah,
and
we
it's
have
the most
video.
hilarious video ever.
It's funny, but I just you telling the story, I feel like you were violated. Even though you didn't want to go up there, you were volunteered to go up there, but going up there, you kind of acquiesced. You could have said, "No, fuck it, I'm sitting in my seat." I would just stay in my seat. I wouldn't even go to a hypnotist show. I do not trust those motherfuckers. I won't go anywhere near those motherfuckers.
They might make you think somebody's coochie is really funny.
Whatever. It's still I don't like watching that video of Silent Mike doing that and hearing your story.
Yeah.
I feel violated because you were violated.
Honestly, like, unless you go up and you're like, I'm comfortable enough that I will enjoy this. This is fun. I'm excited about this. Unless you're in that mindset. I was really going, like, in my head, I'm going, how can I get off the stage? How can I get off the stage? How I can't get off the stage.
Right.
How can I get off? And the whole time I'm just like, how can I get off? Now I'm clucking like a fucking chicken.
Right.
How can I get off the stage? How can I get off the stage? Now I'm doing the worm on the ground. Like,
I'll tell you, if I
There was
were
all kinds of stupid shit.
if I were ever given superhero powers, that would be my nemesis. Some hypnotist guy.
Hypnotism.
I would do everything I could to just take his ass down.
Fighting hypnotist evilness everywhere.
That's right.
And there's like Dr. Dr. Done ones.
Your superhero name is Realist.
Yeah. But even then, I would have to take one of you two into the doctor's office with me to make sure that doctor did what he was supposed to and not something else.
It better not be
You know
me.
what I mean?
It cannot be me.
I'll go in and I'll be like, fuck no, this is done.
Yeah, because she would make me cluck like a chicken.
No, I'd be like, fuck no, she's not gonna, waddle like a duck.
Hey, doctor, I heard something out. You might want to go check the lobby. Every time you hear the word bunny butt, you're going to cluck like a chicken.
Yeah, I can't take. You're right. I cannot take you.
Yeah, no.
You're a jokester like that.
No, because I would totally be like, every time you hear the word cock, you're going to go, doodle-doo. And then I would just be like, that cock, doodle-doo.
Now, I take it you are of the kind of mind that you would willingly and jump on the stage.
I would.
Yeah.
I would willingly jump on the stage.
I think I'm too much of a control freak to do something like that.
Well, see, and the other thing is there isn't much that they could make me do hypnotize that I wouldn't do normally.
Well, I will say most of the things that they had us do, it wasn't, you're right, like it wasn't anything with the exception of, one was like you have to orgasm or something, and there were just some different things. So it's not like anything you wouldn't regularly do.
You mean you don't regularly orgasm?
Like, yeah, the noises. Yeah, it was everybody. It was just weird. It was just weird. That was it.
Let me harder, Daddy.
There was like 15 people up there doing that. That's what it was.
The best thing ever.
Hey, well, how do you guys feel about hypnotism? Or would you jump up onto a stage here in Vegas? There's like 2 or 3 or 4 hypnotists here in town, right?
Yeah.
And they're packed all the time. I mean, the Silent Mike video, it was a packed audience. You had like 7, 8 people up on the stage, and there are so many people that are willing to do it. There's no way. I have been offered tickets to go to a hypnotist show. I'm like, no. Just because he might point at me and say, get up here on stage. And I'm like, no, I'm not even going to give you an opportunity to hypnotize my ass to get up on the stage. No.
I might be able to find some old videos floating around from it that I'll share. If I find them.
Yeah, you should do that. I think it's hilarious. Because honestly, they'd be like, you don't have to hypnotize me to make you laugh at her vagina. Like, her vagina's funny just as it is. You don't need to hypnotize me for that.
I mean, I totally understand it's all just a show and it's all just for fun or whatever. But no, there's some, to be able to do that, I think you have to have just a little bit of evil in you to come up with stuff like every time you hear the word cock, you're gonna go doodle doo, doodle doo. That's just a little bit evil, a little bit.
Well, we all know I'm more than a little bit evil.
That's true.
I mean, there is no question about that fact.
And I love you. Imagine if it was some other guy who I don't even know. That's probably some pure evil shit out there.
Probably.
Inkspot Story said he'd never go up on stage for those hypnotist shows.
Inkspot,
don't do it.
You and I are going to hang out. That's right.
You guys can be my Uber ride.
Yeah, we'll stand outside and hang out with Big Bird and whoever else is on the strip.
Elmo,
yeah.
Elmo! Or those guys in those nutsack thongs. I love those old dudes in the lycra nutsack.
Is it the wrestling thing?
No. It's literally just a thong that wraps around their butts, their nutsack, and it goes up their butt crack.
Yeah, it's like a nut thong.
And then it's just 2 little strips of fabric that come down over their nipples.
And who are they supposed to be?
Nobody. They're just old dudes in nutsack thongs.
Hanging out on the strip?
Getting their picture taken and getting tips.
So,
I walk around like that.
Sierra took me across town yesterday, like total catty corner across town, to help me go pick up an item and bring it back over. And we came straight up Tropicana and had to cross over the strip. And there was like new buildings and half buildings, and it's been so long since I have been to the Las Vegas Strip. I was like, hey, what's that? Oh, what's that? What the hell is that? Where did that go? It was crazy.
Yeah, for those of you who don't live in Vegas, those of us who do live on Vegas, I have been on the Strip, not just crossing over it like because I have to cross over on one of the streets to cross over it, but actually on the Strip to visit something on the Strip maybe twice in the last calendar year.
Right.
Like, there have been entire years where I've gone not on the Strip. It's just, it's so... There's so much more fun things to do downtown.
Downtown, out of town.
Out of town.
Yeah.
Over by my house, there's a bar right around the corner. It's fabulous.
Your house itself.
My house itself. Shea Wiener. There's the Red Rooster. There used to be the Power Exchange. I miss them.
Isn't there another one?
In San Francisco.
No, here.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't know if they've opened a new one.
The Green Door.
Oh, I've never been there, but I hear it's skeezy.
Oh, the Green Door. It's expensive.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's in the commercial center area.
Yeah, the Q Club Commercial Center, Sci-Fi Center.
Well, it was. I don't know if it's still there anymore.
The Green Door? Or the
I know
Q Club?
the Gay and Lesbian Center opened up in Commercial Center. I think they may have pushed some of that out.
Is
I
that
don't know.
near downtown?
No, Sahara and Maryland Parkway.
Sahara, Maryland. It's a very famous center.
Yeah.
Lots of great stuff is there.
Did you go to high school out here?
You know
what? Did you go to high school out here? No, then she wouldn't know.
Oh, you know the invite that we just got? I think it's at the Onyx Theater.
I know where the Onyx is.
Yeah,
that's in Commercial Center, I believe.
Oh, okay.
It's right there. It's the very corner building right there. It's across from that trans club we went to that one time. When
Spotlight Lounge?
Yeah, Spotlight Lounge. What was I calling that douchebag? I don't remember his first name. Brian. Oh! Cocksucker Brian.
Cocksucker Brian.
Cocksucker Brian. That cocksucker. Cock-a-doodle-doo.
Give us a little taste of who Cocksucker Brian is.
So, Cocksucker Brian is a guy that I met on a date. I met him on Plenty of Fish or Match or some bullshit. Some dating site. And we went on a date, and I was totally impressed on the first date. And he seemed to be totally impressed on the first date. We were texting all the time and calling all the time. Do you know how long it took us to go on a second date? A year. A year before I ever saw that motherfucker again. But we called and texted each other every single day. He strung me along for so long. And then when I started dating douchebag Kurt, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do because I really like this guy.
So you went from cocksucker to douchebag.
I did go from cocksucker to douchebag, yes.
He didn't become douchebag until the end of the relationship.
That's true.
Kurt was great Kurt until the end of the relationship.
He was an amazing boyfriend right up until he decided he didn't want to be my boyfriend anymore, which is exactly 2 or 3 days after he told me he loved me. Like,
oh.
Yeah. So it was like, Happy New Year, I love you so much. Okay, I'll see you in 2 days. Okay. Call him up in 2 days. Hey, are we getting together? We need to talk. What? And then the next 3 months were a roller coaster of being together and breaking up and cheating on me and going with other girls and then getting together and then getting me pregnant and then having an abortion. It was crazy 3 months.
All of that in 3 months.
Yes, it was fucking insane. And finally, on Valentine's Day...
Her life goes quite fast.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Yeah, on Valentine's Day, I was like, we were supposed to meet at like 10 o'clock in the morning and like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I still fucking heard from him. 5 o'clock, he calls me like, oh, I went out with my cousins and got really drunk, except, motherfucker, I know you don't drink. So you didn't go out and get drunk. Oh, my phone died. Except, motherfucker, I know you carry a spare battery for your phone because you can't have your phone die because of the kind of work you're in.
Do you want to look him up? See what he's up to?
No, I know what he's up to.
I can tell her.
Yeah.
Oh.
I actually know him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's not like
I am really, really good friends with his best friend.
And his best friend is only his best friend because we introduced him to each other. That's the only reason they know each other. Anyway. No, he's perfectly happy living in some house with
We're
some
very
chick.
incestuous here.
Yeah. Apparently. He's perfectly happy living his life. I'm super happy that he finally found somebody that he's not like roller coastering through, because when we were dating, he would tell me these stories about these girls about how like suddenly one day they were just really crazy chicks, and I'm like, wow, that seems weird that would happen over and over and over again too, except I've learned since then that if the story is the same, usually it's not the chicks, it's the dude. And the story was all basically the same. Yeah, we went out, it was a really good time, and then I don't know, man, she just went crazy on me. Here's what happens. He likes a girl, he has sex with a girl, he really gets involved with the girl. I mean, like, he swallows you into his life. Like,
and then does an assessment, steps back, takes an assessment, and goes, maybe not.
But he doesn't even, like, he just flips a fucking switch. It's not even that. He's just like, literally, one day, I love you so much, there's written fucking evidence. I love you so much. You and your son are the other half of my life. I can't imagine the rest of my life without you. 2 days later, I really don't think we should be dating anymore. I don't love you. Douchebag. Kurt.
So cocksucker Brian, douchebag Kurt.
Yeah, it was
Are
crazy.
these the real names?
Yeah.
Brian is real. Kurt is real.
Yeah. But they're not spelled normal, so, it's crazy. But anyway, I went from cocksucker Brian to douchebag Kurt, and then it was No-Eyed Dave, Super Dave.
No-Eyed Dave.
No-Eyed Dave was the best.
I remember No-Eyed Dave.
No-Eyed Dave was this
No-Eyed Dave wanted to buy her a car.
No-Eyed Dave was going to get me tickets to U2, except they were sold out. Like, No-Eyed Dave was amazing.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
Well, that's true, because I have to give him butt sex for U2 tickets. No-Eyed Dave was amazing, except that he wanted to buy my love.
Wait, you were going
I was going to let him put it in my butt for you can't.
for U2 tickets?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, U2 is pretty awesome. So
Yeah, but it doesn't count because you can't go, oh, I was going to buy you a fabulous car. I can't give you kudos for going to buy me, but something happened. If you bought it, I'll
we
give
went
you
down there.
kudos for
We
it,
went
right?
down there to get the tickets together, and then they were like, "Oh, we're sold out." I'm like, "Oh, that sucks."
Did you still give
Okay,
them the
he
butt
gets a
sex?
little bit of credit.
No, I didn't.
Not
give him
enough
butt
credit
sex.
for butt sex.
No, but he was on some weird drug medication, like blood thinner, heart medication. He could stay erect for like 4 hours. It was insane. But every time he smiled, his face was just so chubby. He wasn't a fat guy. He was just his face was so chubby. Every time he smiled, like his eyes, from his eyebrows to his nose to his cheeks bones, just disappeared. Every fucking time. That's why we called him No-Eyed Dave. Because every time he smiled, his entire visual range just diminished to nothingness. Oh, and then there was that crazy guy who was living in his truck out of the parking lot of the.
Oh, he was good looking
He
too.
was super good looking.
That's why she overlooked that he was living in his truck thing.
Because he was so hot.
Gorgeous.
You let that part go. You're
I
like,
did. We had sex in the back of my Jeep, and he was great. But he was a fucking psycho. He had to go. Because we took him to the bar, and it just so happened that No-Eyed Dave showed up because we were going to the same bar all the time, so he knew where we were going to be. So No-Eyed Dave showed up. Well, I had like super hot homeless guy with me. Wasn't Calypso dating a super hot homeless guy at the same time too?
Well, yeah, the one that she took socks to out behind where she was taking classes for her hair.
Yeah.
The Beauty Academy.
This was our show for like a year. This was how
This is how the show started with these
started.
stories.
So it was great. I introduced him as my friend to everyone. He went all crazy. He was like,
Yeah.
"I'm just your friend, just your friend." I'm like, "Dude, we only had sex once."
This was the homeless guy who was living in his truck, right?
Yeah. And then
I remember that.
so he
wait,
also
did
brought in
he-
his coin collection to pay for his. He brought in his super rare coin collection to pay for his beer, but he didn't want them to go get rid of it because he was going to come back and buy his coin collection the next day. Oh, he was a psycho, total psycho, but hot as
but you
fuck.
kept going.
No. I was pretty much
You're
done
like,
with him after that.
Let's give it another chance.
No, we had
She had sex a few times, and that was it.
just once.
Just once?
Just once.
Okay, sex once, and that was it.
Once, that was it. And then he was all psycho crazy. We're just friends, yeah, bitch. He's all talking about buying an RV and traveling across the country and homeschooling my kid. I'm like, I don't even know your last name, yo. I've seen your dick and I don't know your last name.
This was
We can't move in together.
I think this was just before the Den of Iniquity days. Him. Because Kurt was
He
before
was.
that. Douchebag Kurt was before that, and Cocksucker Brian was before that.
Yeah. No-Eyed Dave, though, man. He was the greatest. But the one that will always blow my mind is remember that guy who rode that really shitty motorcycle? And I got Roberto and I went to our favorite bar, and we both got too drunk to drive home. So he hooked up with the crackho that was there, and I called this guy to come drive me home because I was too drunk to drive. And he came and picked me up and drove me home, and then I had to have pity sex with him because he drove me home. So I was like, now I got to give him a blowjob.
You know who my favorite? I think my favorite of all the guys, of
Dave?
those, that litany of guys that you had, my favorite was Fabulous Dave.
Fabulous. There was like 3 days.
How many Daves were there?
A lot
Was
of
Dave a
dates.
thing?
He had a lot of dating going on.
Fabulous Dave was the best because we brought him over to play. We used to play a lot of board games, and so we were like, "But you got to bring your own chair because we didn't have enough chairs." So he comes in with this like chartreuse like mission style
Mission
chair.
shaker, yeah.
This dude was so gay, but he could fuck like a
But he was
maniac.
not gay.
But he was not gay.
He was just he was fabulous. He was just so fabulous.
I mean, if you walked into a gay bar, he would be like your stereotypical gay dude. Like,
I
oh,
swear, after we met him, we Calypso and I were like, I think he's gay. So we kind of, confront her, do an intervention or something, and she goes, no, he fingered me all night long. It was great. I'm like,
and then we had
gay.
Then we had
He
sex
could
on
be
his.
gay.
Well,
He could be bisexual.
Well, he
Oh,
could have
no.
been bisexual.
He
but
may have been.
then we had sex on his bunk bed at his dad's house.
He could,
I loved Fabulous Dave.
he could still be gay even if he had sex with you.
I think this was when
Maybe
before
you didn't
Facebook
realize.
got like really huge and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think I found him on Facebook and friended him. I don't think he's my friend anymore, but
Fabulous Dave.
I think so. Yeah,
Wow.
I don't know for sure.
Inkspot Story said if No Eyes Dave's name was Chase, he could have been Chubby Chase.
Oh, he could have been.
All right, it's just past 8:30. We should probably get to news stories if we're going to cover that this week.
Trump is a dick.
He won New York, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's being predicted that he won New York. Which, after Ted Cruz insulted New York as it did,
Wait,
pretty much a given.
did you guys see the pictures of the woman who was on Maury? That is the spitting image of Ted Cruz.
Nuh-uh.
Oh, I have to show you. It looks like Ted Cruz in drag. Seriously, it is the spitting. image.
Not even
And
good
yeah.
drag, apparently.
No, not even good. And Trump and Clinton.
Has
Well, they
Ted
look like
Cruz
they're
ever
related.
apologized for the things that he said about New Yorkers and their values?
Probably not.
I don't think so. But I mean, as I've mentioned before the show, Trump just accidentally referred to 9/11 as 7/11, which totally happens all the
Yeah.
time. I get
In the
it.
days when the Slurpee machine broke.
And he didn't even. There was like no apology, no nothing. He was like, "Continue on.
Hey, that's what.
They'll forgive me."
When we're teaching people how to perform, that's what we teach them. Like, if you fuck it up, just keep going.
Yeah.
Just keep going. Because you know what? Most people won't even notice. And you know what? No one in that audience noticed. It was only those of us who watched it on TV later who were like, hey. He said 7-Eleven, like this bitch was a big gulp.
There are probably a lot of people who noticed, but maybe didn't.
But it was a major thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you definitely don't want to mix up 9/11 and 7/11. It's pretty major. I would stop and apologize.
I agree.
Oh, dude.
Or at least correct yourself.
I'm gonna find you a side by side. Hold on, I'll find a side by side.
Oh my God! It is him in drag.
Okay, I'll
I
find
bet you it comes out that it really was him.
You
in
need to
drag.
post that on our wall too, so people can see it.
Let me, while we're talking, I'll find a side by side here. That
Holy
it's crazy.
So, what do you want to cover?
Uh,
Oh, it disappeared.
Oh,
No, I agree. Looks
Yeah.
just like him.
yeah. It's his chubby younger sister.
Looks just like him. It's
Or
the
his
nose.
chubby twin sister.
It's the nose and the brows.
And the chin. They have the same chin.
I mean the same.
They're the same right in this square right here.
Yeah,
This is all exactly right.
article onto the Facebook wall.
That's fabulous. Oh, no, I didn't have any
and I'll
news.
put
I
it
wanted,
onto Twitter.
I wanted to talk about Trump being just a total douchebag. You know what I did want to talk about? So the polls have been all over the place. So they've been polling people, if this Republican went against this Democrat, who would win? So if any Republican, if Ted Cruz or Donald Trump ran against Hillary Clinton, they would both lose to Hillary. But if Kasich, he's number 3 right now, right? If Kasich ran against Hillary, he would win by a double-digit margin. I was like, really? So the number 3 guy would win against the number 1 number 1 Democrat.
Wow.
Well, I mean, that could be a fun race. I'm really glad. I think Bernie, only because, I don't agree with a lot of his politics, but I think Bernie would make a very charismatic president. He might go a long way into repairing our international view, the way the world sees us. Clinton certainly won't. Everybody already hates her. But I think Bernie could do a lot of good for our public image. But he won't win the nomination. He's too far behind.
Yeah.
And after Hillary won New York, he's done for.
So I do a lot of science news, what's happened with the planets and, what's coming up and all kinds of stuff. And so I went onto my Facebook timeline to see, because there's one particular story I want to cover. And, but I went onto my timeline is like complete fluff. There's nothing on my Facebook timeline that means anything.
So did you create a separate timeline for your science shit?
No. You should. No, I mean, there's science stuff on here, but that's a lot of memes and stuff like that.
Oh, you know what I really love? I'm going to name drop another company, Google. That do no evil Google. Well, Google is Skynet. Their news app is pretty amazing. Like, I love how, even if you use just the app on a regular computer browser, I love how you can make it really just the news you want to see.
Oh yeah, I have alerts set up for a bunch of stuff. So
yeah, so I love their science news. They're always putting up some good shit.
I did have a story I wanted to cover that happened this week. Beauty bar downtown. One of the employees posted a sidewalk sign, and it said, "I like my beers like I like my violence, domestic."
Ooh.
Now, first, the beauty bar, this isn't the first time. They have been known for
being very racy.
Oh, yeah, you're good.
You're fine.
So it's not the first time they've been known for being horrible shitheads. They actually had
you're bad when Toxic calls you a shithead.
There was something when they took over new ownership where they weren't letting some individuals in because they weren't pretty enough, and it's actually co-owned by Chumley.
Oh, that makes sense.
The one who was recently arrested for
drug paraphernalia.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't it just like a bong? Like,
no, I think it was all over his house.
If it's just marijuana,
it was more than a bong.
Well, here's my thing. If it's just stuff for marijuana, just leave the motherfucker alone. What's the worst he's doing? He's smoking a bowl and eating some Doritos. Have you seen Chumley?
It was more than that. It was well beyond that. But the beauty bar, with this latest posting, they first and foremost they took a while to even respond to it. I mean,
it was a day. It was 24 hours.
That's still a while for something that they're not a major corporation where they have to go through a shit ton of lawyers to figure out what's the best way to say this. That I can understand. Like, this is probably, a couple people own the place, one dude, whatever.
The best way to say it is
a couple people own it.
The best way to say it is, oh shit, my bad, we won't do that again. Real sorry.
Well, that's what I had to do, but they took 24 hours, and then the way that they addressed it, and that employee has been suspended
fired.
Or something.
They said fired. Yeah. And it was a woman.
Right.
They made sure to put the pronoun of she in their statement.
Well, and I happen to think that that's probably a good thing, because everyone would have assumed it was one of those douchebag dudes who did it. But no, even females can be douchebaggy.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the case.
Right. One of the things that caught my eye on the story was the comments. So there are so many people, oh, this is just PC bullshit, and this is, stop getting your panties in a twist or whatever. Like, making light of it, making light of any kind of domestic violence is just us getting our feelings hurt, and we're just too sensitive now, and that's crap. That is crap. Because the way that we look at issues, almost everybody hates pedophiles. That's why so many people want to cut off penises and castrate people, and they should hang and burn. I've seen the vitriol when it comes to pedophiles, but that's because socially conscious people don't like people who are pedophiles, right?
Nobody likes you diddling the kitties.
Right.
Even within the prison system, they're referred to as chusters, child molesters, and they are not even liked within the prison system.
Right. So I don't see why we can't do the same thing with something like domestic violence, right? Or rapists. Adult rapists, or any of those things, because all of those are heinous.
They're all heinous, and the other thing that we have to remember is that it's not just male on female violence. Domestic violence happens. My baby daddy was abused by his ex-wife. I witnessed it. Like, I had to punch a bitch out because she was kicking on my van at the time. And
So then
when I found out, what I found out though was that was regular. Like, her beating him like that was regular during their relationship. And the same thing goes for female on female violence. There's so many. I don't understand how you can be a lesbian and beat your woman. Like,
well, look at Hope Solo. Very famous female soccer player, goalkeeper.
beat her siblings, right?
Beat many people. Her husband, her sister, her sister's kid.
Yeah.
All at different times.
Yeah,
she kept doing it.
Yeah, and domestic violence and rape both. One of the things we have to remember about that is we only see it. The mainstream media only portrays it as what I call the SVU effect. It's a woman who's been victimized by a man. Except that's literally only half of domestic violence is male on female, husband or boyfriend beating on a girl. There's so many other versions of it, and we just kind of sweep it under the rug. Like, for instance, if a guy's getting beaten on by his wife, it's the dude's fault because he can't stand up for himself.
Right.
Or if a lesbian
actually they'll try it just the same.
They will now.
Yeah.
But that wasn't always the case, and even now it's not socially acceptable.
The social consciousness is not yet tuned into something like that.
Yeah,
yet.
it's not.
But in a court of law, they'll be treated the same.
Right.
But it's not socially acceptable for a man to come forward and say, "My wife beats me,"
and that's why a lot of men don't.
Because
and then that's not even, all of this is not even taking into consideration verbal abuse.
Or emotional abuse.
Grandparent abuse, which is a type of domestic violence, right? Just
elderly abuse.
Elderly abuse, all of this. It's horrible how people treat each other sometimes, and none of it should be acceptable.
None of it should be acceptable. The problem is that if it's not your peaches and cream domestic violence, if it's not, boys on girls, nobody really gives as much of a shit, because it's like, oh, the poor defenseless woman is being beaten on, instead of
I'm just not playing devil's advocate here. I don't necessarily know if it's that nobody gives a shit. It may not be as highly publicized.
You're right.
Because a man getting beat by his wife does not sell the blog posts like a famous woman getting beaten by her famous husband.
Think about it though. Think about it just of the people that you know. If a famous dude were to come out and say, "This, my wife, my
Partner.
Significant other, beat the shit out of me. I'm taking it to court." What would be the Twitter posts? What would be the Facebook posts? What would be the memes that come out? They wouldn't be about the abuser. No. They would all be about the victim.
But they're from the same people who are saying that board is acceptable. We just have our panties in a bunch, and that's why people are getting upset. It's from the same people.
Yeah, you're right. So. It is from the same people, and those people. I think PC does go too far sometimes. For instance,
I don't.
I'm with you.
I don't.
I know. And that's okay.
There are some aspects of our history that are unsavory, but that does not mean that we should pretend they never happened.
No one says anything about pretending they didn't happen.
Well,
PC is not about pretending it didn't happen. PC is saying, look, don't use this word, don't use this word, don't say this, because I believe PC is always something that needs to be in effect because you're teaching the future generation.
Right.
So,
I'm sorry.
So, PC has gotten to the point where at some schools, quite a lot of schools, I follow a lot of these articles like this, there are kids getting expelled because they built a ray gun out of Legos and they were playing, good guys versus aliens or whatever.
Okay.
And kids got suspended for that.
At my daughter's school, they one of the kids turned a pen into a thing to shoot razor blades, and then set off during class. Well, they both were weapons.
One was made out of Legos, and
one was made out of a pen.
It was a kindergartner pretending.
But here we go. If we're trying to change the social consciousness about violence, any kind of violence, gun violence, I If I had kids, no, you don't play with guns. Cowboys and Indians, you don't play that game. Master Slaver, no, you don't play that game either.
No, I don't play that.
You know? So where is the line? What is the line between Christopher Columbus and those indigenous people, right? Are you Christopher Columbus or are you the indigenous people, right? Or Cowboys and Indians? What's the difference?
There is no difference.
So why is Cowboys and Indians acceptable and not the other? PC.
I didn't say either one of those.
No. I'm not saying you. And I know that you don't speak for all those people who accept a little PC, un-PC stuff.
Right.
I know you don't. I still love you, no matter what.
The line is really hard to draw because
is.
the difference between a kindergartner using their imagination to construct this idea out of their head and, a fucking douchebaggy preteen who wants to shoot razor blades at his kids, they're not comparable. They're not.
And I disagree with that. Go ahead.
Right. If your kid wants to build guns all day at home, all day, all night, if your kid wants to have shelves full of guns, like, I firmly believe that is, your choice, that is their parents' choice, that is anybody's choice. But when it's brought into an environment that involves others.
Do you think the initial reaction to, let's use the example of the kindergartner who made a non-functioning, didn't even hardly look like a gun, but he was pretending like it was anyway, out of Legos, is your initial reaction to not suspend, but to completely expel that child so he can't even attend another public school?
It depends on what
I think
the
depends.
rules are.
It depends on the policy of the school. If the school has a policy in place that no weapons or no weapon-like games any kind of games that involve weapons or anything that has to do with that is supposed to be there, then yeah.
I'll give you an example. When my daughter was in kindergarten, it's not the same. It has nothing to do with guns or violence, but she was in kindergarten and a little boy ran across the room, ran full on, charged at her, knocked her down, which you've met my daughter, so you know that's not an easy feat, even in kindergarten. Knocked her down and kissed her in front of everyone. And he was suspended. And he was suspended because they have rules regarding things like assaults. That rule was in place. Did that kid intend to injure my daughter?
No.
No, he thought she was cute. He was just goofing around. And that's what he did. That his intention wasn't meant to assault, but that's the rule that was in place, that if an assault occurs, here's what happens.
And I think that first stepping stone of, okay, what you did was wrong, the consequence is you need to be suspended and, hard time or extra labor or whatever it is you want to, make them do double homework or whatever it is. I think that's fine. But to jump from, to just immediately go for the jugular on something like that, to immediately go, this kindergartner was pretending and literally didn't know any better, so what we're going to do is ruin the rest of his, I wasn't talking to you.
Kelly Guy said, don't forget the kid who was expelled for chewing his Pop-Tart into a gun shape. And then Inkspot Story said, come on, that's messed up.
Yeah.
So what part is messed up? The part that a kid was expelled for that, or
I'll tell you, if my kid was expelled for the Legos, I'd probably,
I'm sure
I'd probably go in. I'd be upset, and I'd probably go into the school and talk to them. Do I agree? Maybe there should be a step in between. Yes.
One of the things that I've been doing this week is talking about sexual harassment in a particular community.
Mm-hmm.
So there's several different groups that belong to this community. I think I talked about this a little bit last week. One of those groups in this community has a zero tolerance policy. That's their policy. Anything gets reported about you, whether it's on the wind, one person, 5 people, whatever it is, you are no longer allowed into their establishment or anywhere around any of their members. Zero tolerance policy. If that's what a school has, zero tolerance, then that is the rule.
And they can't prevent them from going to any school in the district. I actually know that.
It depends on the district.
Well, in this district here, they'll send them to a different school or give them other options.
Yeah. Where we went to, when I went to grade school, if you got expelled from that school, is it that time already?
That time already.
You couldn't go to school. No, we've still got like 5 minutes. We don't have to break for 5-minute ads anymore. We can go till 9 o'clock.
Time is up. 5 minutes.
Yeah. It's not 1 minute, it's 5 minutes.
Okay.
No,
we could talk for 2 hours.
we could talk for 2 hours. But in some districts, if you're expelled from the entire district, not just from that school. And this was an instance where it was one of those districts where this kid was in kindergarten expelled because, he was a kindergartner, didn't know any better, and nobody pulled him aside and said, hey, you shouldn't be doing that. They just said, you're done, you're out. Your parents have to move because you can no longer go to school.
I don't think
here.
they can. I mean, we're one school district. I don't think they could do that here.
No, not here. It didn't happen here. It happened somewhere else where the district rule is expulsion from any school within our district is immediate expulsion from all schools within our district.
Not having kids, I don't know, but I'm assuming the PTA has a lot to do with the kinds of rules that go on in public schools.
Not the
no?
PTA.
No. So public schools have particular rules, correct?
Yeah.
Are these public schools that we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
And in the case with my daughter, it was a private school, which when she attended private school, they didn't even get a PTA. They didn't want input.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's federal policies, and then there's state policies.
There's no
and then
federal
county policies.
There's no
It's
federal
like
educational
state,
policies.
Why not?
It's
If they're being funded by money from the federal government, then why aren't there federal policies? I would assume they're just your basic policies, right?
No, there's no federal policies for education. I don't know why the federal government's giving our school systems money.
So,
So there's state laws, and then each district within each state has its own set of rules. Districts get to make those decisions. But in the instance of children, if you're trying to teach them the right way to go, you have to teach them the first time they do something wrong. That's not their fault. If they didn't know the rule, if they're freaking 5.5 years old and they can barely not shit in their pants, I think maybe the first step should be, hold on now, Jimmy. That kind of play, we don't do that here because it promotes violence, because it can promote this idea and that idea. And kids at that age can kind of understand that concept. I don't think you should just go immediately and tell this kid, you're so fucking bad you can't be here anymore, we're kicking you out.
I'm pretty sure that's not what was said to a kid. Hopefully,
No.
if it was said, then there's something.
No, that's
something that's got to be discussed. Otherwise,
That's not what it said.
a zero tolerance policy is a zero tolerance policy. So I think it all depends on. It is the parent's job to teach the kid, right?
Yes.
But if the parent doesn't know, then they're ignorant as well. It is the onus of the school to give you the literature. Do parents get literature about the school before the kid joins the school?
They do,
So
and it's a
then-
shit ton of literature.
Right, but it is the job of the parent to go through it and find out what the rules are and make sure that their child adheres to those rules. I'm sorry, I am a fan of the zero tolerance policy for a lot of things. I'm also a fan of the counseling way of going through things.
I think
But it all depends on what it is.
Right.
If a school sets it, that's what it should be for the school. If we set it, that's what it should be for us. If she sets it for her family, that's what it is for her family.
And I agree with that wholeheartedly, but I think that you can't. Zero tolerance works for certain things: sexual assault, bullying, actual physical abuse, things like that. Zero tolerance is perfect for that. But when you're talking about little kids and abstract ideas, like, it is natural for children to play good versus bad. That's a natural thing. All kids do it without even thinking about it, because that's how they explore. That's how their brain is working right now. Like, they understand this is good and this is bad. They don't understand the gray influences in between.
But
all kids naturally play good versus bad.
But that can be learned without weapon.
It can be learned
weaponry.
it can be learned without fake weaponry, but I don't think, especially when they're in that explorative age, and they're in that explorative age at 5, 6, 7 years old, that you can't just immediately zero tolerance punish them for an abstract idea that they can't possibly comprehend, no matter who explains it to them. They need to learn that, okay, it's okay for you to understand that there's a difference between good and bad, and there's it's good for you to understand that cops protect us and they chase down bad guys and they arrest them and take them to jail. That's good. That's great that you know that. And then you start working them through the steps. But playing like this, acting like this can lead to that.
Now, this is the whole concept of freedom, right? What you do in your home and how you
That's
admonish or reward your child at home. is your business. The way she does it is her business. The way I do it with my cats is my business. A school, of course, has to take into consideration how she does it, how you do it, and how I do it. And if they set the bar this high as opposed to down here, where, and I'm not saying that yours are low, but you allow more freedom in your home, while hers is a little bit more restrictive. And my cat's, I won't even sit in a chair. If my cat is in a chair, I won't move my cat. So mine is like there are no rules. So, but the school,
Her cats verbally harass her for food.
but a school who is going to accommodate her child, your child, and possibly my cat for show and tell has to set a bar.
They have to find that middle ground somewhere.
But it can't be a middle
Now,
ground,
let me
because
ask
the middle ground would not be okay for someone like you or someone like her, or you know what I mean. That middle, it's going to upset someone.
There will never be a level. Yeah, you're right. There's never going to be a level that will be
Right.
acceptable for everyone.
That's right. So they set it high.
So some of
Super
us
high.
have to just grit our teeth and bear it and say, that's not the way I would want it done. But see, if because I can't afford private school and because our school district has to make me jump through a shit ton of hoops to become a homeschooling teacher, and I don't
Right.
have the time to do that.
Private school will be even worse.
Yeah.
Private school will be even, I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
Like, those rules will be way stricter.
I am a huge fan of what she does in her house is her business. What you do in your house is my business. It's like if you come to if you go to my mom's house, you better take off your shoes.
Mhm.
You come to my house, it doesn't matter, right?
Can you take off your pants?
At her house.
So yeah, my house you can. So it all depends on where you go, right? But that's private. When you're dealing with where the public goes and they set the rules, that's what it is. If Zappos sets a particular rule, that's their rule.
Private company, they can set any
That's
rule
right.
they want.
If you
But
go to
here's the thing at this school, just really quick. You know, what I think ultimately you might be grateful for if this child was in your own child's class, and, you know, maybe today it's a Lego gun, but you don't know if maybe, you know, again, every household, every rule. I know that some people aren't as consistent about locking up any weapons that they might have at home. I was just in court this week with a friend because her house was broken into, and one of the people that were going through their preliminary before us, when they came in, they found like 3 or 4 guns just loosely laying around the house, and the house, it was full of children. They had
Wow.
like 4 young kids.
And
So how do you know that that's not the home that he's coming from? That today it's the Lego gun, but
And you know
tomorrow it's this really cool thing.
And you know what? No one will never know because they didn't counsel that kid. They just kicked him out. Instead of finding out where are you getting this idea, let's find out, you know, how
Well, we don't know
can
they
change
didn't
this.
do
No,
that.
that's true.
We
No,
don't
they
know
didn't.
do
Well,
that.
we do know that they didn't do that because they said they didn't do that. They just banished the kid out of school.
But wait a minute. Okay,
The
so
school openly admitted that they did not counsel this child at all. They just expelled him.
my mom had to go to court for making the wrong kind of turn. She like crossed 4 lanes of traffic to get into a turn lane or something like that, right? She did not know that was against the law to do. It is against the law to do that. When she went to court for it, the judge says ignorance, just because you're ignorant of the law does not mean you're not guilty of
Right.
breaking the law. So
We're talking about adults, though. What the
No.
conversation I'm having is about a 5-year-old. Maybe his parents didn't tell him that it was against the rules.
But
for him to say
there's
that.
counseling either by the parent or by the school or by a mandated psychologist to take care of the kid after the punishment or whatever. Zero tolerance is zero tolerance. There can be no, okay, I know this is your first violation. We were talking about sexual harassment. You know, if you get one complaint about one guy and we kind of agree that 3 different people complaining about one guy, to me that's still too much. If one person complains about a guy, he needs to be investigated for sexual harassment. If we wait for 3 times, the 3rd time might be something super serious that there's no coming back from, right?
And
So
they could
it all
be
depends.
ex-girlfriends who are super pissed off.
No, you're absolutely right. But it needs to be investigated first time.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion, if there's a complaint about someone, it needs to be investigated by someone, something, whoever.
Exactly
So-
right. If there's a problem, we should investigate it, get to the root of the problem.
Right.
So your argument is, how do we don't know that kid isn't going to come back later in life with a gun in his
No, I'm
hand?
just saying that's probably why they set the rules that they set in
Right.
place, because they can't
So all
monitor what happens in all of our homes.
No, you're right, but they can try to make the difference at the school level. And they can try to make that difference by, okay, maybe we have a zero tolerance policy, if it's really something that's fucking serious. But if it's a 5-year-old pretending, maybe we want to talk to that kid. And where are you getting this idea from? You know, where are we getting this idea from? And find out, is this kid coming from a violent home? Is he really from a violent home? Maybe the answer is not expelling him, but finding help for that family.
Right. And if you
After he's taken out of the group of children, so
a suspension would be fine, but not
if you Google it, there's a lot of instances of this with toy guns and Lego guns. There's more than I actually thought that there would be, and in most cases, all the ones I'm finding are suspension. So that issue may then be more so that school, which as a parent, if it were my child, I would take up and advance within the school. So
yeah, I'm sure the first couple of expulsions where everyone was like, why would you expel him? Let's just suspend him first and figure out what the fuck's going on. You can't ruin a kid's freaking...
And sometimes they implement rules, and they did it at my daughter's school, where after that happened with the razor pen, then they couldn't have anything that had a clicker, like
zero tolerance. That's
exactly.
Right.
And then they changed it, and then they said you can, but you can't fill the lead at school. So they kind of, adapted after. They put the rule in place really fast because this happened and it wasn't expected. And then they, kind of loosened it from there, which may have happened after that. I mean,
right.
Unfortunate for him that he's out, but maybe that helped bring light to the situation and they fixed it.
Boy, this got serious fast.
It did. I just don't think jumping the...
Can we just say boobs?
Yeah.
Please!
Hey, let's give Wendy a happy birthday going away show.
Happy birthday! Boobies. You don't have a bra on, do you?
I always have a bra on.
We do get serious around here.
We do. We have very different... Well, I have very different opinions. It's 2 peas in a pod over here. Thank you for listening. Don't forget, curse word of the week, Cafe Cunt Noodle.
That's right.
Feel free to holler it out your window at that Cafe Cunt Noodle in the Starbucks line.
Maybe you should honk at her and just lay on the horn.
You fucking Cafe Cunt Noodle, get the fuck out of the way!
Do they have to be in a Prius?
No. No, mine was in a Honda.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of coffee grounds in the bottom of that.
All right.
I really pissed that barista off.
Good night. See you next week.
Good night.
Bye.
Purring.